Racing to the finish line to this old bike. Trek Madone SL 5.2, 58 centimeter. Almost ready to go. Just need to clean up the cables, wrap the bars, some final little detail touches, and it's good to go to its next owner after this.
Welcome to I Know a Guy Bicycles.
Welcome to I Know a Guy Bicycles, hanging out with the guy. Hi, I'm Justin the Guy. Obviously, I have a garage shop. Taking scary how to use bikes one bike at a time.
If you like these videos, please like and subscribe.
Welcome to I Know a Guy Bicycles, hanging out with the guy. Hey, I'm Justin the Guy. In this little bike series, this is what we're working on, a 2007 classic Trek made in the United States. Yes, this has the Discovery Channel logoing on it from Tour de France winner Lance Armstrong. That's when they were really pushing Lance back then, and you know what it is. It's like he did so much for the cycling industry that you can't take the negatives too strongly. I know some people have a lot of opinions about that. That's fine, whatever. This is not the forum. I'm not really trying to make a spark, but it can't deny the fact, though, when he started winning the Tours, being the first American on an American team to win the Tour de France, which is the Super Bowl of cycling, that's a big thing, and that basically jazzed up a whole bunch of people to get into road riding right after the big boom of mountain bikes. They were just all over the place. So a little history bit. This is one of the last bikes made in the United States with the OCLV carbons. Then they shipped everything overseas. So this is United States made, which is kind of nice with the actual United States team. So it is a classic bike. It does have some chips in the back that I wasn't able to get out completely, of course, but I cleaned up, and this bait job, where it doesn't have chips, is beautiful. And the componentry cleaned up really well. And I'm just going to start diving in and doing things and getting this done. But anyway, working on this bike, there was a couple things to address. One is to make sure that the frame was damaged, and cleaning up the frame actually worked out pretty well, which is a good thing. It's going to be a really good bike for somebody, especially just starting into road riding for sure. It is a fast little bugger, that's for sure. There's a couple things. Other things I had to address was the freehub body. The freehub body had some gouges in it, and was able to file those down. I didn't have a replacement. I did look at another Race Lite wheel that I had, but there was a different year, so the hub was completely different design. So I didn't have the exact alloy, or the steel version wouldn't fit. So I went ahead and just cleaned this one up, as well as the front hub. And the rear rim did not have any cracks in it, which was pretty surprising to me. But it was actually in really good shape. So once it all cleaned up and true, the wheels were just pretty spot on. And let's see, I did find a skewer to match. The rear one was a training skewer, and this one actually found the exact match. It is a titanium Bontrager skewer, so that worked out really well. The chain cleaned up good. The drive chain cleaned up really well on this too. Really gunky, but I got it to go. Replaced brake pads on the rear. Did the cables and the housing for the shifting. New cables for the brakes. Uh-oh, he fell out. So, except for some little scarring, it is pretty amazing. The bottom right bearings were good. What else was there? Oh, I had to replace the headset bearing. Usually when headset bearings go, it's usually the rear or the bottom, but I ended up replacing the top because it has some grind crunchage to it. It was crunchy, and what I could figure was a little bit of rust on there. Same thing with the rear skewer. This was a trainer bike for a while, so what probably happened is the rider sweated a lot, and it got into that front bearing and compromised it. But right now it's like super smooth. So detailing there. The bottle the bottle bolts didn't match, so I found another set that did match. And I do like putting a little bit of grease on these guys to make sure they don't get seized up in there, and keep it smooth. And there is, polishing compound still inside there, so, it has some stuff to keep it from corroding, per se. That kind of thing, so I'm just Not that much. I put a little too much. There we go. And get this guy on here. This one too. Did have that weird little wing dinger, which I took off. I had profile bars, which I took off. I'm gonna clean those, but I'm not gonna put them back on this bike. That's kind of like an accessory that people would get. I'll sell those separately. So that is that. Took some leftover tape that I had from wrapping bars, secure this housing. Cut some more paint. Now we're on to the bar taping, wrapping it up. It's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, this kind of throws me back in the day. 2007, for a guy like me with my age, it doesn't seem that long ago. And looking at this bike compared to what you see on the floor of new bikes, I mean, new road bikes are, I think the cheapest you can find out there is like $1,200 new. And keep in mind, $1,200 gives you the bottom of the bottom. I mean, that's the lowest and stuff that you can find to put on there with the lowest frame. So when you're looking at this guy comparably as a road bike, this has all full Ultegra with Dura-Ace rear, which what that's going to give you is a higher performance. And back then, even the higher performance then is still blow the doors off of any low performance that is available today. It is a 10-speed, so you do have the range. This also is a triple, which is nice for those who live in areas with the hills. I know it's a whole big thing to go to 2x1s for a road, but yeah, there's when you live in the Rocky Mountain area, you really want that lower range. It really comes in quite handy per se when you get in those tough spots. Componentry is still readily available too. When there's shortages, the shortages is based off of the newer stuff, which is 11 speed or 12 speed. You kind of find it because they didn't have it because it's being allocated for all the new bikes. Now the new bikes are catching up, but they're still producing a whole bunch of them. It's what they call overproducing. And they've always done this kind of in a way to overproduce and just bicycles carry over to the next model year on a lot of them. So unless it's like, I mean, they can't come up with a new design every year. It's just not financially viable for companies to do that. So they'll have an iteration like, boom, we got this new fancy widget on a full suspension or whatever. And they have to carry it for a couple of years to pay off the R&D and development of it. I mean, it's just not that easy to, we got a new idea, or that one just blew, and we're just going to go with something else. Even bad design's been carried for a couple of years, even when they didn't know it, and finding out the fact later on. But anyway, they tried to band-aid it or whatever. That's, as the world turns. And if you want a series of that kind of detail, I got a whole series on that you can binge on. I'm starting. And insights as the wheel turns, so do the days of our rides. Anywho, a plug on my other series. But yeah, this is going to be an awesome ride for somebody for sure. Pretty much OEM, I mean, for the most part, which is pretty amazing considering the age of it. Which is not, not shocking, but, it's nice. Come across bikes like this and it's like, man, you got a hodgepodge of craziness going on here. And, it all occurs from damages or whatever. The scrapes on this one looks to me, they had one spill, which they scuffed that, and there's a little bit of scuffing, but the dread is not compromised. It's just little scarring. But the scarring on the other side on the paint, it looks like it's from a car rack. So, mindful when you're hanging bikes here on car racks, you need to really pad the areas where they could potentially rub each other, because they're a little scarring. The newer car racks are so much nicer. They're able to split the bikes up, but you still have some of those on the market which hang, and you can just keep mindful that's what happens. And just makes the bike look ugly, unfortunately. Which one's my which? Okay. And This is gonna be awesome. Awesome ride for somebody for sure. To get into it. Definitely a diamond in the rough. It was kind of rough for sure. There's a lot of questionable pieces that I was kind of really surprised that didn't have to do a lot more. The other one that's hanging there, I had to order a bearing for that one for a headset. It had a unique bearing, and that one is being shipped from England, so we'll see when that comes in. But this guy, we can get this guy out there rolling for the season. Ready for another thousands and thousands of miles and enjoyment for somebody to ride. And, you know, get better health and all that good stuff. So talking about bar tape, I mean, this is just your standard bar tape, but there's a lot of different brands out there and different kinds and flavors. And if you find that you're riding a lot and you need more padding, there's types that have a padding to them that goes underneath, which is kind of nice. And gives you that extra comfort for those longer rides. And you know, that's kind of, you know, if you're getting buying a used bike, that's something you definitely want to swap out immediately, is get new bar tape. It's just kind of nasty. It's like wearing somebody else's old used socks. And plus, it's a good thing if it isn't a new bike and it's just a bike you have, that's always a good time to have a refresher, you know, like something new for the season. Get yourself some new bar tape, get a different color, or more padding, or different style. Bling your bike up, give it a little bit of bike love. It's all about the bike love, right? So we're wrapping that up there. Got some bar tape there. Okay, where's my little roll right in front of me? So yeah, it's always kind of fun to add something new to your bike for the season to feel a little more fresh or what have you, kind of thing. Yeah, that one came off all nice. And take these scissors. There we go. Get a little more personal here. So yeah, logo matching on the tape, same direction. So yeah, these were made in Waterloo, Wisconsin. We had two facilities. I forget the name of the other town, but it was in Wisconsin too. And Trek, they still do their Project Ones in the United States. Not too sure if the frames are made here though. They are assembled and painted. So they have some fancy paint jobs that you can pick from. And that, I think you still can do the pick, match your kit, which means your brakes and shifters and extra little accessories. But they are pretty penny to have done, but they are pretty cool. One of those things that if you have the funds, it's fun to do. I like to cut on this little tail. Can't really visualize my angle with that there. Maybe cut off too much, but I'll see. There you go. Use the longer blade scissors for a longer cut angle. Makes it a little bit easier. Voila. That's about the same. And I do little angle cuts on these, so you put your finger on it and span it. It does give you that weird little pick at foot thing when you're on square tape. And put most tension on the first lap around and less tension with that tape spans out to do full coverage, and I like to cut it so when you finish it up, it's at the bottom. And that's what my dad told me. So what my dad taught me back in the day when I first wrapping bars. Also, knowing tension on these is kind of a big thing. So what he did is give me a piece of scrap and goes, okay, pull on it and see how far it takes you until it actually snaps. That's when you kind of know what kind of elasticity you have on that bar tape, or at least, learning how to pull the tension. It's all about tension, to make sure that bar tape stays on there and doesn't go anywhere else. So that's a little gold nugget for you. Bar unplugs, you may have ones with lights and whatever. These are kind of nice from ceramic because they are reflective. So you'll be seen by cars coming up behind you. As always, be seen is a big thing. All right. So now for my tags. Frame stickers. Not to make it too junked up, but do like to say this is actually from a Noah guy. And also have a little QR sticker. So if you're riding on the trail, like, ooh, nice bike, and it's like, oh yeah, I got it from this guy, Noah guy. They can scan the barcode or the QR code. So you don't have to try to explain to them where to go. And my little dot stickers. So this one did have the old super thick protective stickers on the head tube, which were compromised. So the frame was actually really clean because of those were on there, but I put mine on there, so. And sometimes you can put one back here. So get there was some scarring back here from the cable in the back there by the brake and vibration. And where's my stuff? Oh, behind you. Almost to the finish line. Final little armor all to clean up the hoods. Bar that I got my little fingerprints all over. Other hood. And moving it around. So prior video, if you wanted to look at it, there was a detailing of the frame. We got some scratches out of the head and the top tube here. And clean up the back. Another video is going to be about the headset bearings. Something to talk about there. But pretty much, even the saddles are OEM. That's kind of crazy. Anyway, there you go. Refurbished to the finish line. 2007 Trek Madone SL 5.2, 58 centimeter. Ready for its new ride. Check it out today. Just kidding. Thank you for hanging out with me. Until next time, from the garage.